dark hair. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find, spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizard flow, life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, that's a wizard show.
It's a day ending in the letter Y, which means the internet must be upset about something related to tabletop role-playing games. It's about 9 o'clock here at Site B on this, the 20th day of October, 2025. 60 degrees and sunny for now, but apparently we're under a bomb cyclone warning. I don't know if a bomb cyclone is better or worse than a normal cyclone. I don't know why they can't just call it cyclone anymore, but I guess, you know, they got to make it sound cool because it's the 2025s. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, did you see this? Speaking of cyclones, apparently Sandy Peterson and Kuntz, however you pronounce it, are tabletop role-playing game tourists, and Wizards of the Coast is coming to get us yet again. Oh no, because the number one story in the tabletop role-playing game community is a piece of art from a year ago that Wizards of the Coast cleverly posted last week and managed to upset the entire planet. Somewhere, a certain Canadian carrion eater is laughing in his grave because we're doing exactly every awful thing Heath said the old school does. So, yay, Wizards of the Coast won this one, guys. Oh, no. So let's go first. Sandy Peterson. Who? Rob Kuntz. Who? Apparently, they're tourists. They've never done anything in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. They're just joined. I don't know. I've played like 2 games. I'm Sandy Peterson. What the fuck have I ever done in tabletop role-playing game? Blah, 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 blah. I'm Rob Kuntz. Who am I? I don't know. So this comes from the genius known as Wargaming Dad. Wargaming Dad has apparently have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for at least since 2022. And he's been posting, following up, of course, on the artwork about how Sandy Peterson, Rob Kuntz, and these other guys are tourists in the tabletop role-playing game community because they, I don't even know how you get there. Who's the fuck is Sandy Peterson? What has he done? You mean besides Call of Cthulhu? The second most influential title in the history of the hobby, the single most popular role-playing game in Asia and Europe, Call of Cthulhu, I don't know, Ghostbusters, Pendragon, ElfQuest, Doom. The guy's been gaming since the dawn of time. He's one of the founding fathers of the hobby, but I guess he's a tourist who doesn't know anything about gaming today. Also, Rob Kuntz, who's one of the last living members of the original group, apparently tourists. What have you done gaming recently, Rob? I don't know. I've helped found the stupid hobby 50 years ago. I was there with Gygax. I have stuff in the game named after me, but no, I'm a tourist. Don't know the first thing about the hobby. I don't know if this Wargaming Dad is serious, if he's our favorite Canadian carrion eater taking on a new persona, or if he is trolling us and succeeding. Anyways, I mean, the guy's got 9,000 some odd posts. So winning, congratulations, Wargaming Dad. You somehow managed to fail forward in your idiocy, whether accidental or planned. And of course, the reactions to his very controversial posts have been nothing but negative. Would anybody expect otherwise than that? I mean, everybody and their dog is rushing to defend Rob and Steven. It's almost like that's what Gaming Dad wanted. Because look at all the attention he got with his silly comment about these guys who helped found and create the hobby know nothing about the hobby. But this guy who's been gaming since 2022 apparently knows more about the hobby and the history of the hobby than you, me, that guy over there, TJ Storm, Steve Balbo, Carrie Solomon, Sandy Peterson, Margaret Weiss. Yeah, so tourists. This guy, this Wargaming guy, Wargaming Dad apparently is the end all be all. He is the bon vivant, the savant. He is the end. Yep. Congratulations. You have won the internet this week, Wargaming Dad, because you got everybody talking about you. Oh no, it's like you planned that. Weird. And again, somewhere a certain chaotic, evil Canadian carrier eater is sitting in his pile of poop laughing because the old school is doing exactly what he always says the old school does. So congratulations. You won the internet. Speaking of winning the internet and more Wizards of the Coast shenanigans, our good friend Elven Maid Inn apparently is a homophobe, amongst other things, because she, along with many other people, was up in arms about the artwork. Of course, we all know what the artwork we're talking about is the dancing gay, I don't even know what to call it, picture that everybody's all upset about. This thing right here from a year ago, you know, the guy's celebrating and there's the pink beholder and the dancing owlbear and the two kobolds trying to start a fire. And we've got all these people here. This woman defying gravity, this blue dragon running away in horror. We got the tower that is bending in no way no tower ever would in even real life, unless it was built intentionally that way. And of course, the gay couple who now I realize the guy doesn't have feet. At least we're assuming the tiefling's gay because he looks male, but we really don't know. It could be a female tiefling because, you know, they're demons. They're not human. We don't know how they present. And also this non-D&D picture that somehow got associated with Dungeons and Dragons because, yeah, this is how people in the Forgotten Realms dress. Never. But it was something that was laying around, and Wizards of the Coast threw it on a D&D post, and people got all up on arms at it. That's not my D&D. Yeah, that guy's wearing a suit, and he's got a sword cane. I don't think it's anybody's D&D. But okay, yeah. So she got upset about this picture, as most of the tabletop role-playing game universe got upset about the picture. And because of that, people are calling her a homophobe and a racist and what other anti-trans and what everything else. And as we're finding more and more about the picture, which Wizards of the Coast made a year ago, and has something to do with Wizards of the Coast supposedly supporting a trans right charity and some extreme quote unquote woke charities. Oh no, Wizards of the Coast is supporting woke. And it looks like Wizards of the Coast is trying to destroy the perception of Dungeons and Dragons. Oh no, Wizards of the Coast is doing exactly what they said they were going to do 5 years ago. What a shock. I think I'll have a heart attack and die from not being surprised with the amount of tension this post got and continues to get. And is this picture D&D? If that's what's going on at your table, great. Because no one fucking cares. It's a game about goblins with sticks. I do not care how you represent yourself. I do not care what you call yourself. I do not care on your gender or sexuality or political affiliation. I'm here to talk about goblins with sticks. Tabletop role-playing game is a stupid game about goblins with sticks. That's it. If there is a gay extravaganza going on at your table during your tabletop role-playing game, congratulations. If, on the other hand, you are totally against anything LGBTQ, well, you live in a smaller world than I would like, but hey, you're entitled to your opinion, even if I don't agree with it. If that's the politics of your table, great. As long as we're all around the table playing. Because I don't know if anybody knows this, but for the past 30 some odd years, tabletop role-playing game didn't fucking care who you were. Anybody and their dog was allowed to play at the table. As long as you weren't an asshole, as long as you got along with everybody else. I am sure I have played tabletop role-playing games with people that many of you would think would be absolutely abhorrent. I have played with homeless people and billionaires, sometime at the same table. I have played with famous Hollywood movie stars and famous porn stars. You name it, I've probably played with it. And you know what? Never once did we care. But hey, if that's your D&D game, that's great. The problem is not that, you know, hey, gay people play D&D, because they do. It was because Wizards of the Coast was trying to force a false narrative onto the public, and people like Elven Maid Inn and others fell for it. You fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Wizards of the Coast managed to accomplish with one picture more than they've managed to accomplish all year in convincing people that everything they have said about the quote-unquote old school everything they have said about D&D before 2014, before Wizards of the Coast saved the world with 5th edition, is true. Now, you have to remember that according to Wizards of the Coast, everybody who gamed before 5th edition was a racist, sexist, homophobe, hated disabled people, hated anybody who was different, was just 5 white guys playing D&D in the Southwest. That was Dungeons and Dragons and all tabletop role-playing games until 2014, when Wizards of the Coast saved the world with 5th edition. Remember that? Before 2014, people like me were not allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons. My 40-some-odd year history is apparently a delusion, because according to Wizards, LGBTQ people weren't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons before 2014. I've been out since 2008. Disabled people weren't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons before 2014. I've been disabled since I was 6 when I was first diagnosed. Autistic, dyslexia, horrible migraines, depression. You want the list of the things that is wrong with the brain and body of the OGGM. Anti-Semitic. I'm Jewish, so apparently until 2014, I wasn't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons because, yeah. So this is the false narrative. Remember, this was the whole thing about that 50-year history that Wizards of the Coast made last year about what a horrible human being Gygax was. You know, white people like me can't leave the hobby fast enough. You know, the colonization mentality, orcs are racist. That whole thing that we've been talking about nonstop since Tasha's came out in 2020. Wizards of the Coast wants people to think this is what people who played like act like. They want people to think that people like myself and Elven Maid Inn and Rob Kuntz, us tourists, were horrible, awful, baby-eating, zombie-summoning bastards who did not allow anybody to play unless they were white men who lived in the Southwest. And by responding with the post that Wizards of the Coast put on purpose and looking at the response that post got, guys, Wizards of the Coast won this one. You gave them exactly what they wanted. Wizards of the Coast stock jumped over the weekend to almost $100 a share again. It's the highest it's been in almost 2 years. Why do you think that is? Because of the response that piece of art got. When we should have just said, nobody fucking cares, we're not buying your game. Well, apparently Wizards of the Coast heard us say nobody fucking cares, we're not buying your game. Well, this comes to us from our new friend, Hypnotica. Hypnotica has 10,004K subscribers. They've been doing this for a while now, it looks like. Like, share, and subscribe. Bam! There you go, buddy. 10,401 subscribers. He discovered this story about a survey that Wizards put up on the Magic the Gathering site, where they talked about how people were responding to the latest chunk of stuff from Magic, specifically the Spider-Man Magic the Gathering Secret Lair crossover thingamabob. Oh no, Spider-Man's now canon in Dungeons and Dragons. And apparently they did not get the answers they wanted on the survey. Oh no. They geared a survey to get specific answers, and they got the answers they wanted to get by not getting answers, which would then allow them to take down the survey and start once again saying horrible things about the customers. Well, now apparently part of this is they're going to come get us. They're going to try and silence anybody out there in the tabletop role-playing game community on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, who is saying negative things about them, much like when they sent the Pinkertons to that poor guy's house for legally having Magic the Gathering product in his possession a week before it was supposed to come out. They're going to do this. They're going to come after. They're going to put us on ban lists. They're going to say nasty things about us. I don't know. Maybe the Pinkertons are going to show up in my house and arrest me for bad-mouthing Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast will continue to get people talking about them. The algorithm will keep seeing people talk about them. And in the end, even when Wizards of the Coast loses, they win. Oh no. So will Wizards of the Coast be coming after you or me or Diversity in Dragons or anybody else who posts negative commentary about Wizards of the Coast? Probably not. There's far too many of us. Is Wizards of the Coast really going to come after people because the product didn't sell the way they thought it would sell? No, I don't think so. I mean, no matter what, Wizards of the Coast, you're going to get people saying negative shit about you, but that's what you want. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this. You want the negative shit. You want to be able to say, have Mackenzie or Connie or whoever else come out and say, look what they're saying about us. Remember when we said all that shit about these people? We were right. Look what they're saying about us. How dare we support something different? How dare we move the hobby forward? We're doing exactly what they said that we were going to do, thus proving us, Wizards of the Coast, right. You are horrible people if you do not follow the D&D path we set up in 2020. Remember when we told you what we were going to do in 2020, where we repeatedly, at least 4 times a year, tell you what we're going to do? You responded exactly the way we wanted you to. Congratulations, Wizards of the Coast. You won the internet. You got exactly what you wanted. You got hundreds of people complaining about your horrible art, where you can pick and choose certain spaces of that and say, oh, look, you're a homophobe because you don't like this piece of art. You got thousands of people across the planet complaining about the direction you're taking your product, where you can now then pick and choose and represent that in such a way as like, oh no, look what all these people are saying about us. We must be right about Dungeons and Dragons. We must be right about Magic the Gathering. We must be right about the fan base. People don't want it. People keep telling us they're not going to buy it. Look at all these horrible things people are saying. Well, why should we keep making a game nobody's going to buy? Why shouldn't we focus on what's making us money? What's making us money? Video games, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons branding, Monopoly Go, Dungeons and Dragons Go. It's coming. Every time Dungeons and Dragons appears in something, we make money. Hey, what's on the shelves right now? Hey, this is Stranger Things Oreos. Weird. Hey, what's this? Stranger Things makeup. Stranger Things bath salts. Stranger Things, Stranger Things, Stranger Things. Is there a new season of Stranger Things coming out? Oh, yeah. Who has a merchandising tie-in with Stranger Things? We do. What's going to happen to Wizards of the Coast product as we get closer and closer to the re-release of the brand new Stranger Things? Wizards of the Coast product's going to sell. Is Dungeons and Dragons product going to sell? I don't know. Is there a major holiday coming up where people might be buying Dungeons and Dragons stuff and giving it to their kids? Is there a major cross-platform television show that's doing its last season that is deeply rooted in Dungeons and Dragons mythology about to come out on Netflix in like a minute? Oh no, it is. Wow, weird. Look what's selling. Is D&D selling? No. Is Stranger Things flavored Oreos selling? Yes. Are a bunch of people agreeing that what we, gays are bad because we put a picture that could be considered gay? Well, they are. So everything we said about those people are right? Why should we continue making a game if you people don't like this game and you don't support this? It's like we have this thing on our calendar that says Dungeons and Dragons 6X 2027, and it's like we have the game planned to cease to exist as we know it in 2030 because we want to focus on branding in the video games because Dungeons and Dragons doesn't make us money. Oh no! They did exactly what they said they were going to do. And we fell for it because we're talking about them. Dungeon Dad, thousands of people responding to his comment about Rob Kuntz and Sandy Peterson being tabletop role-playing game tourists. Congratulations, dude. You won. Look at the responses you got. I would love to get that amount of responses to my post. I'm lucky if I get 4 because I refuse to play that game, you know? Of course, now he can say horrible things about me, and we know Driving and Dragons is going to go after him. We probably know Driving and Dragons is going to go after me for responding to him and saying, "Oh no, Wizards of the Coast is coming to get us." And doing, how dare you, Wizards? You failed your int check, OGGM. No, I think on this one I am 100% correct. Because at the end of the day, the algorithm is showing thousands of people talking about D&D who weren't talking about D&D 2 weeks ago. And stock jumped up the most it has this year. So when Q3 rolls around, which should be any day now, they can say, look, we made money with this shit. Look, nobody's buying the product and people are saying all these horrible things about the product. Why should we keep selling it? I mean, we've been planning on doing this since basically 3.5. We told you we were going to do this with 4th. We told you we were going to do this again in 2020. We continue to tell you what the plan is, and you continue to fall into our trap. Wizards of the Coast got exactly what they wanted last week. Now, Sandy Peterson is not an RPG tourist. He probably knows more about the hobby than everybody else combined. Rob Kuntz has been there since day one. He is not an RPG tourist. He has been there since day one. Elven Maid Inn, homophobic? I don't think so. She seems pretty open-minded, but she made the mistake of responding and then defending, and she gave the idiots a chance to go after her and go, look what she's saying. And the more she defends herself, that's not what I said. What I said was, the more people are going to go take her words and go, no, look what she's saying. So at least she's smart. She's jumping on it. She's saying, well, fine. If that's what people are going to say about me, I'm going to, milk it. You're absolutely right. I want my D&D to be like this. I don't want my D&D to be like that. And what does she want her D&D to be like? What everybody else should want their D&D to be like. A stupid game about goblins with sticks and a bunch of friends sitting around the table, rolling dice and having fun and being larger than life heroes, killing the bad guys, robbing them blind, and generally just having a good time where nobody cares what you do or who you are or how you present yourself, because all we want to do is play Dungeons and Dragons. That's all I want to do. I want to be able to sit at a table or be online with my friends and just play and not worry about their political or sexual or whatever agendas. Fuck, I don't care if I'm playing with an alien whose species when it eats the planet. I just want to play D&D once a month for 3 hours. Is that too much to ask? When I was a kid, in our day, when I was a kid, when dinosaurs still roamed the earth and we only didn't even have dice to play D&D. In fact, there was only one D in the letter. That's how long ago I was playing. We hadn't even discovered the second D, blah, 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 blah. My 40 years in the hobby, blah, 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 in the old days, blah, 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 blah. But really, I am sure if you look at the people I game with, and there's even some pictures of the people I game with in the past, you could probably point out one of everything. And if that's something that upsets you because X plays role-playing games, I'm sorry you think that way. I'm sure I have beliefs you would disagree with. I'm sure you have beliefs I would disagree with. When it comes to the tabletop role-playing game, don't care. Don't care. Don't care about your politics. Let's just play. Wizards of the Coast won this one, guys. And Dungeon Dad, or whatever his name is, won. Because look at all the people talking about him. And Wizards of the Coast coming to get us. I wish they would come to get me. I could use the free press. Please. Please, I would like 2,300 subs by January 1st. How am I going to get that? By people talking about me, by people buying my merch, by people saying, hey, that OGGM, he's a really great guy, or that OGGM, he's an idiot. Well, most people think I'm an idiot, and well, I am. But I'm the smartest idiot in the world because that's so wizards.
Mischief in the classroom, potions gone astray, flying through the quad, now brighter every day. Laugh till we cry hard, sneaking out at night, cloaks in the moonlight, everything feels right. That's so wizards, oh, oh, oh.